looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin in the eye, seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of two clouds. So tell me this time is coming, so take up all your lies. Why don't you try to be why? Now that I need you, why? I am in misery.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in
Hello, everyone, and welcome to taking over NXT. I don't fucking know anymore. This show was a fucking chore tonight. God, this show was a chore tonight. There are 3, maybe 4 segments I liked on this show, and everything else was a goddamn chore. NXT's like, look, we're going to give you the steak and the potatoes next week, but this week you got to eat your veggies and your fruits.
These are the kind of appetizers I was skipping in the restaurant over the weekend.
God, this week, oh. Thank God they ended on a high note. Thank God
Yeah.
they ended on a high note.
Oh, goodness.
Jeez Louise. STG's in here with the HBKs. I don't know what he was cooking tonight, but he was definitely cooking fruits and veggies. We'll say that. You know what? He's probably cooking eggs Benedict, which is why I hated it so much. Probably lots of eggs Benedict on this show.
Oh gosh.
Really casually enters the chat. I know that you were also watching Dancing with the Stars. Let me know how that was as well. was watching you on Twitter tonight. Yeah, he's skipping appetite. You know, it wasn't like these weren't like the potato skins or the mozzarella sticks appetizers. These are the freaking like bacon wrapped asparagus and like crispy green bean bullshit appetizers that nobody wants.
This was like the shrimp that I was avoiding because I'm allergic to it in the appetizer section.
Eggs Benedict. No, you're still wrong. You're as wrong about this as you were about your picks this week in the NFL.
Oh, damn.
Get the tables. Oh, by the way, Ashley, do you have anything to say to SGG about Screw the Swifties from Sunday's show?
I need an explanation about that because I don't know if I got it out of context before I start fighting. I need to know what happened there.
So we were talking about which team we should take, whether it should be the Kansas City Chiefs or whoever they were playing. I don't even remember who it was. And we were talking about how most people look at the Chiefs and they go, it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team.
Yeah.
It's the Kansas City Chiefs. And STG decided to pick against the Chiefs. It was the Falcons, I think he picked. And he said the evident line of, screw the Swifties.
You know, that's one of them. It's right here, STG, just so you know. Do you want to take that back right now? Just letting you know. Just giving you a chance. Think about it. Think about it.
STG trying to make good with his thing, saying at least I got Carolina right. I was being marked. You hailed for Taylor Swift. Sure you were.
I'll give you one chance to take it back. One. There you go.
Nope, he stands by.
No! I'm disappointed.
We got Will Chisholm saying here, they got Stephanie talking like she's the new final boss. Stephanie Vaquer debuting tonight on NXT, and she is the new final boss. Jeez, that I mean, we'll just put it up here. We're going to try to save it, but this shot being the final shot of NXT is just something. We couldn't get her live this week. I assume we have her live in ring next week, right?
I hope so. This is how I was hoping that Giulia would debut, something like this, that kind of visual of like Roxanne and whoever was going against her, and then all of a sudden Giulia would pop off somewhere, whether it was the Titus run over by the ramp, anything like that. So I was not expecting it for Stephanie. Yes, we gotta shake up the haters.
Yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic ending.
Yeah.
But we'll start at the beginning, which started out really good. I had high hopes when this show started. Kelani Jordan versus Wren Sinclair. Astrid, talk to us about this fantastic match.
I enjoyed it. It just felt a little bit short, and the ending itself felt a little bit abrupt. I know you might not agree with me on that part, but it just felt like it ended out of nowhere for me. And I would have liked a little bit more because I was enjoying it and I was enjoying the pacing of it. And then all of a sudden it was done. And I liked how the girls had to get back and forth. They were able to like really show out each other. I think that the part that like really stood out was the part when Kelani just like standing there and she moves out of the way. So Wren ends up splashing Myles and Tavion. And she takes the opportunity to do her split leg moonsault and get the victory. But I was hoping for a little bit more in between the splash from Wren and the ending there. And I was hoping for a little bit more to happen in between there. But I feel like it was a good showcase for Wren. And like you and I were discussing, just feel like she needs more opportunities to showcase herself a little bit more. She hasn't gone in NXT so far. And when she got signed, I was hoping that she would get those opportunities because people kind of know her a little bit more than most of the girls. So I'm glad that she got that opportunity tonight. And it was the opener. So I feel like it got the attention because it was the opener, but I wanted more time there. Yes, it really was. I love that camera angle too.
The thing I'll say about this is the only disappointing thing about this match that I have to say is that almost all of Wren Sinclair's great offense was done in a picture-in-picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's that whole picture-in-picture. Wren Sinclair is dominating this match and doing some cool stuff in it. But it's all in picture-in-picture, so we don't really get to see it showcased, which is a shame. The match told a great story about Wren Sinclair trying to prove herself in the group. It told a great story about Kelani trying to overcome. While the Candy Crew wasn't necessarily cheating, she's definitely outnumbered. They know at no point did they try to really get involved, more than Myles and Tavion kind of yapping at Kelani at that spot at the end. Like they didn't, and they really didn't even do that much. They were standing near her talking. At the end of the day, that's about as clean as it's going to get in the professional wrestling world. And it was a fine match. The ending makes sense. Kelani doesn't lose this title to Wren here. It makes sense that this is how it ends. But like I said, I would have appreciated seeing a little bit more from Wren out of the commercial break. But it's nice that we got to see it. It's nice that they're giving her a chance, and it looks like we're now starting to see these divisions kind of separate themselves, and we're seeing some movement now that we're getting the chess pieces are being put in play, and we're seeing that. Like I was saying all along, Stephanie McCourt was never going to be in the Women's North American title picture. She, like Giulia, is directly headed to that Women's Championship picture.
Yeah.
Skyrocket them. The chat. We got Bobby saying, "Hello, my friends. How is everyone tonight? We had to eat our vegetables and probably some eggs Benedict tonight, Bobby. It was a very bad time for me." It was a fun match and a good show. I agree. It was a bit quick, but at the end of the day, I feel like they had time. They got a segment. They got basically 2 segments to have this match, which in WWE is almost a lifetime when it comes for a women's match. So they got plenty of time. We got Mel Ball in here saying lovelies. Since he's not on the show tonight, we'll do this. We'll wait for the squeak.
There you go.
There's the squeak.
It was a quick one this time.
She was on the ball. She knows the drill. She pops in the chat. She gets any dope on her screen. But no, I mean, it was a fun way to open the show. While we got a bunch of people in here, I do want to make sure that everybody understands. Remember that next week, I, for certain, and probably Ashton as well, will be here live during NXT on the CW for the debut. We were doing a live watch along. We'll be doing a short post show to give our thoughts on things that happened after the show, but it will not be a full taking over after the show. Taking over next week is a watch along style episode, so make sure to join us for that. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. I might have a lot of fun with that, with being roasted in the chat by myself, depending on how things play out. Storms are temperamental.
Yeah, that's what I get for being in the Sunshine State. It's okay. You have SCG to fight with you in the chat. We'll be fine.
Oh, we always have SCG in the chat to fight with me. Hello, Newbie. Thank you for joining us. Millie says she was expecting it and had it ready. I always free thirst traps. I mean, it's just a picture of Eddie Thorpe. It's not really a thirst trap. It's just a picture of Eddie Thorpe from a wrestling match. But the full taking over is the best 4 hours of it. No.
4 hours? Not even I can take it for 4 hours.
I can't even take myself on this stream for 4 hours. No. She will likely have a guest because she cannot escape Kenny Omega. We'll leave that for another day. We'll leave all that kind of talk for another day. We then get our first portion of the press conference, which is the first portion of us eating our vegetables. By the way, good idea, bad idea. Press conference.
Yeah.
During the show. Broken up into like 15 segments.
And that's why I hated about the graphic, because I feel like it didn't explain much. But the graphic and the superstars of like the lineup, I know had like Ethan and Trick and at least Giulia and Roxanne, if I'm not mistaken. It's a press conference at 8 p.m. And it's like, I was hoping this would have been more like something like after the show or before the show rather than during it, to be honest. Because I feel like it took away from what the like the pacing of the show. I know I got one story coming. Let's see what happens. So yeah, that's what I was like. Like as you saying, I thought the show, the press conference was odd. I feel like breaking it down back and forth like that, and not only that, but you know, at least most of the time, I'm not gonna say 100% of the time, but most of the time in WWE, when you go to the press conference, they show your faces in the audience, and you're like, oh, this is so and so that I know. So you're just excited for the creator as you're for the wrestler getting the question. And then here, not only they'll be like, you answer, and then they don't show you who it is. They don't say their name either. And you can tell it's obviously other people, that it's not people from the media that we usually get on the press conferences. So it's very odd being used to like the usual daily press conference, like you can answer, but it's like you, but they don't say your name, your affiliation, or like any whatsoever. And then you just plain question and then plain answer. And it was like, I feel like this press conference was not necessary in any way, shape, or form tonight. I feel like it was not needed. And if you would have done it, I would have done it maybe if it was either before or after the show, or maybe the day after the show, to really promote again the show next week during NXT. I feel like putting the back and forth on this, it just, I feel like it broke like, I don't want to say concentration, but it didn't feel like it flowed very like the flow wasn't going well with it in there. I hope that makes sense, but that's the best way I can think about describing it right now. But it didn't make sense being there during the show tonight in the back and forth that we had. And the question is just, even with at the end with Roxanne and Giulia, it's like, you answer a question, and it's like, I wish I could know who it was. And so usually I'm like happy for the people that are doing it, and I can't do that because it's not regular people, they're fakers. I don't like it.
They were people from the performance center that were told to ask questions and given a question to ask.
Yeah.
There were no I guarantee you there were 0 members of an actual.
At least people that, if it was anybody that I know, they were not there, and I can tell you that much. And it's like, I didn't like that aspect. It seemed more fake than real, than the real one that we usually get. So that's another reason why I didn't like it either.
Yeah, no. Ethan Page is asked about the pressure of being the champion. He gives the typical heel 101 answer. He's asked about what's Trick's greatest thing. He praises Trick's resiliency, but says it's not going to be enough come next week. He's asked about CM Punk and will he be a factor. He says, I don't care about CM Punk. He's not going to be a factor in the match. Great, sure. Because they make CM Punk a factor in every other segment after this. But both of them answer the question, will CM Punk be a factor, as no. Mm-hmm. We get A-Town down headed to the ring, but before we do that, when we come back from commercial break, Punk is backstage talking to Javon Evans, and Trick walks in. He says, I want to thank you for being the special guest referee. You're going to calm the chaos that's been around this championship for the last, 6 months, it seems like. That's been going on around this. And Punk says, look, I'm proud of you, proud of the work you're doing. I hope you win next week. But at the end of the day, I'm going to call this right down the middle. Nobody's going to cheat. He's not going to cheat. You're not going to cheat. It's going to be right down the middle. And if he wins, I raise his hand. If you win, I raise your hand. I'm like, all right, this makes sense. Good promo from Punk, telling us he's going to call it right down the middle. Something's going to happen where he's not going to call it down the middle, or something's going to happen. I expect Drew McIntyre to get involved on this. I'll be honest. I think Punk's eating a claimer on Tuesday. I really do.
It should be funny the way that Punk has traveled for Drew, if Drew just travels to Chicago for Punk. So,
1,000%. Punk
might as well keep the trend going.
Punk has gone around the world to screw Drew McIntyre. Drew can make it a little trip from wherever he lives to Chicago to over here. Mm-hmm. We get the Grayson Waller effect with Axiom and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory of A-Town Down Under. God, this proved without a shadow of a doubt, Axiom are fucking awful on the microphone. Like, liability on the microphone. These two are a liability on the microphone. I like the story that the two teams are telling, that neither team is in a good place, that neither team is going to stay together. Whoever loses this match, it's going to be A-Town Down Under. But I love the story that they're telling. But no, we're not getting the Motor City Machine Guns after. Stop! You're going to be patient and you're going to wait.
No!
But no, like, it's a fine promo, but at the end of the day, it's not great. It didn't really accomplish a lot more than what we already knew going into it. That this is going to be what it's going to be. They kept poking the Austin Theory Bear, as I called it in my notes. Austin, your name's not on here. Austin, your picture's not on here. But at the end of the day, the Axiom's breaking up sooner rather than later. They talked about how they're like the murderers row and how they've broken up all these different teams.
I saw the meme.
I'm like, sure. But like, wouldn't you save Austin Theory and Grayson while they're turning on each other for like SmackDown against Kevin Owens, who they've been feuding with for what feels like a year?
You would think. Let's see if I can.
What'd you think, Asher?
It reminded me how I'm not looking forward to that breakup whenever it happens. I'm not ready, and I don't want to be ready, and I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen eventually. I was trying to see if I could find the meme. Oh, here I found it that we're talking about here. But yeah, I like how both teams are in this instance. It doesn't happen often, but I do like that aspect of like they're able to like point fingers at each other. It's like you guys are about to break up. It's like we're about to break up, and that back and forth that we have between both. It's not often that you get to like kind of point out kind of that situation to, like, I wouldn't say both teams, but this aspect like that. So I did like that kind of like parallel, to put it like that. But
so I was doing sorry, I was doing something on the bottom of the screen. So yeah. Oh, did you send it to me?
Oh, I put it in the overlay.
Here we go. No. In their defense, they didn't kill Chase Yu. Chase Yu's together. Ridge killed Chase Yu. So I don't know if Axiom can take credit for that one. But.
Yep.
Yep. It's a meme. It is what it is. It was fine. It just showed how bad the two of these guys are on the microphone against people who can actually hold a microphone. Metaphor is backstage. Lexis King comes in and says he doesn't want to go down the same road of backstage chats like we've been doing. Lexis talks about him and Oro's father issues, and he says his father would want him to be the bigger man. I don't know which father he's talking about, if it's Brian Pillman or it's the King guy who raised him after Brian Pillman passed away. But he wants to be the bigger man, and he shakes his hand and he walks away, and I don't know what the fuck this promo is supposed to be. Is it returning Lexis King babyface? Like
that one would be. I think it'll be. Yeah, I don't want to say feel awkward, but it felt awkward. Like I hate to say it like that.
The match feels even worse than the promo. Like we'll get to that, but just like wow, two teams everybody's constantly expecting. You're just waiting for them to break up already. Yes. They're like a bad couple. They just want them to break up. Yeah, you really can't hear anything what Lexis King says over his facial hair. You really can't.
I think it'll be interesting, though, if they do turn him face, because even... I'm not saying he can't do it. It just, like, with his character so far and his presentation from his debut in NXT, I wonder what the angle will be like for him as a face. Because obviously we see him as a face in AEW. It went okay. So it's like I want to know how it's like, because it's always been that heel since he started. So I think I'll be curious to know how it is perceived, I guess, and how he portrays it. But I'd rather have him as a face, though. I don't like this. It's kind of heelish guy for him. Just like I know what he's trying to do, but I just don't like it. Not my cup of tea.
I don't like anything that was going on. It's like Booster era Sheamus. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Remember Beaker Sheamus with the just the top, the shaved sides, and just a little fucking round top with the
Oh goodness.
Oh, bad days for Sheamus. Hank and Tank cut a promo walking to ring that Mama Fries asked me, "Did you understand anything they said?" And I said, "Yeah, but I didn't bother listening."
Good question, Mama Fries. Great question.
She's like, can you understand them as they say these promos? I'm like, I think I could probably understand it if I actually listened.
You think, or you know, there's a difference.
Harder, hitting back. I could understand their promo if I bothered to listen. I didn't bother to listen, but I'm sure that it was basic bullshit Hank Tank stuff we hit hard, we hit last, yada yada, bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't care, so I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, Mama. First, I can't help.
We get Brinley. We go to commercial break after that, and we come back. We got Brinley, Reece, and Karmen Petrovic talking about Eddie Thorpe and the Ashanti the Adonis stuff going on last week. And then Ashanti the Adonis comes into the locker room and tries to hit on. I think he wanted to hit on Brinley Reece, and she basically told him to go fuck himself before he did, so he didn't bother. And then he tried to go hit on the two girls sitting on the couch, and they basically...
It was Kendall and Carly.
That's what I thought. And they basically talked about Eddie Thorpe, and he walked away from that. He then walked over to Tatum, called her freak, said he's a freak too, and without looking up from cutting her doll's hair, she says, I already have somebody. She says, my heart belongs to somebody else. And then he walks away with the rose, but Karmen's watching him the whole time, and I'm like, oh no, not Karmen. We like Karmen. We don't need this. This is the perfect place to put fucking Jasmine Nix in this stupid bullshit angle with Ashanti the Adonis, so I can get rid of both of them off my TV screen. All in one fell swoop.
But if you give them the story, they'll be on TV, not for your screen.
No. They'll quickly dissolve of it. They don't like this shit. This is Shawn Michaels. He's going to give their screen time to Sexy Red next week. Do you know how awful it's going to be for me to have to sit here live with people as I have to watch a Sexy Red segment? Y'all are going to see what I do when I'm watching NXT, which is half the time I'm doing this.
You're looking up Sexy Red songs.
No, God, no. I don't know any of those songs, thank God. By the way, how great would it be for every week to just introduce me to some stupid artist that I've never heard of or that I keep hearing about that I know nothing about? We've done Sexy Red. We've done, what was it, Ice Spice? Lauren and Jose want me to listen to Chapel Road.
Chapel.
I keep saying
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck her name is. I'm probably purposely mispronouncing it, but I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But the one that Jose's always talking about on Twitter.
Yeah.
One of a few, because he's a very big fan. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't understand why I shot this.
Plus, he went to the women's locker room. Shame. What are you doing in there?
I mean, it wasn't the locker room. There were no lockers in this segment, and there were only couches. This is their, workout room.
Yeah, it's definitely
We've seen the locker room. This is an entirely different room. We then get the Hank Tank versus Good Brothers match. Hank Tank win the match. I have 0 notes about this match.
That match was so freaking quick. I was like, what are they doing with the OC? And then Hank and Tank beating them that quickly as well. I went, huh? I'm like, all I remember is I think it was Tank that he pulled Carl Anderson out, and then they pinned Gallows. So I was like, I'm glad they pinned Gallows. That's the first thing. This match happened so freaking quickly for it to be the OC. I did not expect that at all.
They were going for a boot of doom, which is something I haven't seen them do in about 7 years. The boot of doom is good, but why is Anderson delivering the boot of doom? That was the bigger question. But either way, it is what it is. Billy says at least Chapel is tolerable and actually good, unlike the other two you mentioned. Well, yes, I don't like the other two either. I don't listen to any of this. Asher just informs me of this stuff on the air and thinks it's fun.
Go watch the clip from the Ice Spice. It's priceless.
We get Cedric and Javon talking backstage about the match with Randy Orton next in St. Louis in 2 weeks. And they're confronted by A-Town Down Under, who are telling Javon, hey, look, you've got all the talent in the world. You can be a star. Just get away from Cedric. Cedric's no good. Nothing he can do for you. And I'm like, you know what? Austin Theory, there's a new clip that we have. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, this is what I have to say to you. Because you know what? You're right.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
What has Cedric Alexander done in WWE to be a mentor to young talent, except keep a job. Like, I like Cedric. I think Cedric's great. But as a mentor, like, wasn't he the lowest rung of hurt business? And now he's the only one left? Because Bobby's gone, MVP's gone, Bobby's gone.
Who was it? I forgot who did the line. It's like, once I arrived, then I never left. There you go.
Yeah,
that's right.
he's just here. Finally, a new version of me. Yes, Astro. We've been going. We had the.
And I mean, folks, where's the lie?
And now we've evolved it to a much better.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And if we ever need it again, we still have it here.
Should have been me.
Should have been me. We've got them all here. I mean, we don't get to use them anymore because she's not here anymore, but we even still have this
All
one.
I have to say now is it's Tiffy time.
I mean, I still got that one here in case she ever comes back. Come on.
Yeah.
Send me Tiffy time back down to NXT. That's the one I need. Yes, yeah, should have been me. Oh, it should have been me is such a great one. We don't get to use the classic Dolph one anymore, but it's really good.
Yeah.
I have one more, but I'm saving it because she'll be coming back in the near future, so I'm saving it. But I do have one. Stop playing with the buttons, Ed. STG, I'm amused by these. Trust me, watching these stupid little video things that we have is much more entertaining than talking about Lexis King taking on Oro Mensah.
Okay, let me type in up for this one.
All right. My notes for this match. It's an okay match. Oro pulls another shitty Lexis King version of the in thing, and he cheats to win. But Lexis King was being a good guy, and he didn't try to cheat at one point when he normally would have, which made me think that they're trying to turn him face while trying to turn Metaphor back to heels, which don't make sense unless it's just to do the Bianca and Jade versus Lash and Chikara match on the St. Louis show. But
Okay.
But you really need to turn them heel for that? Or can you just do the match straight up? For
Yeah.
African American women having a big title match, that would be a pretty big deal. You can just do that straight up. Can we skip over Lexis King? Millie's falling asleep. Bobby Stats has just arrived. Hello, Bobby Stats. And again, make sure that you check below us. Next week is going to be a live watch-along version of Taking Over. Make sure that you're here at 8 p.m. We're going to go live just before 8 p.m. We are not going to be showing the show, but we're going to be talking about the show. We're going to have it on in our headphones so we can hear it. It's going to be a good time. Mensah says that does it. I've once tortured you with this Justice for Legend motion, and you have turned it around on her. Now it's 2024. It's justice. No justice for Lexis. One, that's a Karl
no.
because he spells his with an I. And secondly, no. We then get the Tony D promo about rebuilding himself and working out to try to go ahead and get ready for his rematch with Obafemi. And I didn't say this last week, and I'm ashamed of myself for not having realized it and said it during the show. We were talking about the Tony D'Angelo stuff from last week. I'll get to Bobby in a minute.
No, your story is the one I'm laughing.
Oh, okay. The Tony D stuff from last week with him being scared and, the back and forth with everybody. The reason NXT did that all in 1 week is because it's part of the Rocky 3 story, which I had to show Asher because she's never heard of Rocky 3.
No, I heard. I just never watched it. There's a different story.
Okay.
Change your wording in there, sir. I don't want people coming at me.
I mean, you've never watched it, which is still just as bad.
Hey, I watched clips of it. It feels the same.
Oh, all the movies are the same in the Rocky franchise, but they're still good.
Yeah.
Because you never watch them. By the way, the best movies go 1, 4, 2, 3, 5.
Oh,
and
sure.
then Balboa. Balboa is the worst.
Yep.
We got Andre and Poop Lady and Germ, Stephanie McKeer is coming. Oh, holy poop lady and germ. Okay. I was like, what the hell?
I was gonna say, what kind of a name do we get?
Balboa is better. No. Balboa is not better than 5.
Mhm.
We also have Millie saying, why can't we just have a match just to have a match because it would rule? Yeah, there are great matches that we can have just because they're good matches. And like, I'm not sitting here saying that I want to see Glass Legend have more wrestling matches. I'm just saying I understand what that would mean for a certain community of people whom I'm not, and would love for that to be there for them.
Mm-hmm. You know what I want to do now? Put our names at the bottom and put Poop Lady and Germ.
I mean, we can try to fix it. I don't know what else.
No. I mean, hold on. Let's see. This one.
Yeah, if we do this.
And then... No, don't change my name, though. Hold on. I want to do something. Okay. I can find it. Oh, no. I thought you could do the bottom one. No, I thought we could do the bottom one they had.
No, I'd have to go into Canva.
No. I mean, like you know what, we have our names. There was something that you can have a title underneath your name on the pop-up ones, and I guess it's gone, I think, right? Oh, no. Is it this one?
It's still there. Show headlines.
Okay, there we go.
And then we just have to fix it on our own. I'll fix mine in the next promo segment.
See, there you go.
There we go. But no, the Tony D'Angelo promo, this is great. I love a good training montage. These are fun. They're stupid. They're not. Oh, you can even change mine. That's perfect. Thank you. I love.
Wait, can we do? Oh no, they go both away. Okay, never mind.
I love a good training montage. I think these are great. It did the job it needs to do. We find out that we're getting Tony D'Angelo and Obafemi are happening in St. Louis with a contract signing next week. Yeah, it's exactly a Rocky montage. And the whole stuff last week was Rocky stuff. And I just didn't. I realized it, but didn't put it together in time enough to say it on the show, and then forgot to say it on the show.
Nope.
To which I said is about 5 minutes after we went off the air. I'm like, shit, that was Rocky 3, and I didn't mention it on the show. Yes. Lost her ever-loving mind.
Mm-hmm. I was like, at least I have an excuse that I haven't seen it, but I was like, he should have put it together before me, if anything. And I didn't, obviously, I didn't at all, so.
The German Poop Lady Power Hour. Apparently, we're boring Millie, so we should move on to the next match, which is Riley versus Rage. And I want to ask you about this, because this is actually a really good match.
And this is one of those instances that the short match actually makes sense, because Rich, you're making him look like a machine, like a monster. He's destroying everybody. That meme that we have for Axiom, we should do that with Rich and everybody in Chase U. And the next one knocking on the doors Andre Chase, because he's the only one left. And it's like, this makes sense of the match being short. Barely anything happening, because Rich, he's the one on the attacks even Riley after the show, after the match is done, towards the barricade. I like how they had the tape, the yellow tape at the end with the barricade, that part of the barricade that got, I don't want to say destroyed, but it makes sense, not only that the match being short, but the attack afterwards of like Rich's intensity. You can see that in this match, and even afterwards, it's like they're really showing that, and like how vicious he is. And I feel like this is a visual that we needed to keep going with him, of like I said, the meme of like, first we get it with Duke, and then, you know, we get it with Riley, and it's like, and then we get Andre on top of it, and he's the only one left. So I like having that pattern.
He destroyed Andre first. It was Andre, then Duke, then Riley. The last one left is Thea.
And I like Thea though too, her acting here as well, just like her screaming, is like, let him go, and like the way she was yelling for Riley. Not only doesn't make sense because of everything that happened with Rich, but the fact that, remember, she was going after Riley not so long ago as her love interest. So it's like you have two meanings there, the way she was yelling at Rich to basically let go of Riley. So I was like, this all wrapped up and made so much sense in it. I was like, this is one of the few times that I'm actually fine with it being a short match.
The storytelling in this match was great, because Riley did a lot of really good offense it wasn't necessarily powerful, but he took advantage of, you know, attacking right away. He took advantage of the opportunity. He did a lot of really good stuff in this. And he got beat down quickly enough, which is fine. That's good. That's exactly what needs to happen, because there's no reason why he should be able to go 10 minutes with Rich Holland, especially in Rich Holland's manic, aggressive attitude. It should be a little bit shorter. But I like how Riley was able to fight through it. He didn't get beat up like everybody else did. The post-match beatdown, he still got the better of all of that at the end of the day, and they both stood tall.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them doing this again in St. Louis. And I think they should do it as an Extreme Rules match or some kind of stipulation match. And I think that's where you get Thea Hale turning on Chase U and siding with Ridge. I think that'd be fun.
That's interesting.
I think it's a lot of fun with her deciding to continue backing Ridge and turning on Chase U in some kind of a stipulation match. I think there could be something to that.
I was thinking more like in that moment when we get the match, I was thinking more of Andre returning and try to help out Riley and try to help him out somehow. I don't know if I put him succeeding, to be honest, but just the fact that we could get Andre trying to get into trying to protect Riley. And it's like maybe at the end, it's kind of like what Damien is doing with Rhea and on Raw, that he put his back to like protect Rhea. Something like that I would see with Andre try to cover Riley, and then Rich would take on Andre instead of Riley instead of that kind of thing I would see happening.
Millie is not happy with me throwing out the idea of Thea turning on Chase University. Then again, I've never liked Thea Hale much to begin with, so me trying to put her with the evil bad guy isn't necessarily out of character for me.
I was about to say that makes a lot of sense.
But I really liked the match. I thought this match was really cool. I thought it did a lot of good, and it continues this story in a way that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting Riley to get decimated, and I love the idea of him bouncing back and forth with it and doing good with it. We get a Miz Twitter promo saying that Oba and Tony can sign the contract with Ava whenever they want, but why don't they both come on Miz TV? The idea of having Miz in the ring with Oba Femi is just such a great visual in my head. I can't wait for this. I want Miz to eat a powerbomb from Oba Femi. I really, really do.
No.
By the way, I'm also loving Miz's work with Bronson Reed on Raw. I think it's fantastic. Miz is a first ballot Hall of Famer in my mind. I've loved a lot of what, especially lately, with him really being into making sure that other people are being put over as stars. I think he's done a really great job. Oba Femi is absolutely fantastic. I love my Oba Femi. I'm going to show you people the thumbnail. I don't know how many people have seen it, but this is the thumbnail for us on the YouTube side. And I basically put our favorite wrestlers on the thumbnail next to our names and underneath the two different things. So under the USA logo where my name is, I have Oba Femi, and then I put Roxanne Perez for Astrid because that seemed about right.
And I wanted to point out Billy's comment here. I'm fully waiting on Thea to take a big bump in that story. That's something I was expecting a little bit tonight, but if we get that during that big show in St. Louis, I think that would definitely make sense in this one as well.
I would love to see her get speared through like a barricade by accident.
Or like pushing Riley out of the way.
Yeah, I would love something like that. Like I'm not sold on that. The only thing that she can do is turn. There's a perfectly good story with her not turning, and I'm sure that makes a lot more sense. I just think that there's a fun idea to her being the person who always believed in Ridge, because she always has, in this being a plan for the two of them to destroy Chase U, because she never really forgave Andre Chase. Like, I think that there's a little bit of story you can do that. Millie says Miz is absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should be. He should be at this point. We get a setup for the the promo segment / press conference portion for Wesley and Wentz, which was going to be moderated by Vic Joseph and Booker T. We'll get back to that momentarily. But first, Oba Femi had the press conference. This was fantastic. This was my favorite press conference of the night. It really was. Because I don't consider the in-ring promo segment with Roxanne and Giulia a press conference. He's asked about being on Miz TV, and he has, I have no reaction to being on Miz TV. He's asked about Tony D'Angelo's training montage, and he goes, I saw the training montage, and it's great that the family believes in Tony. I hope everybody else believes in Tony. But I've looked into his eyes. He's broken. I'm just like, yes, this is what we need out of Oba Femi. And then they're like, next question. He's like, no, I'm done. And just so Oh, this was great. Oba's fantastic. I love him. He's everybody. He's everything they wished Omos could be, and more. He's so delightful. During the break, when we come back, we have Vic Joseph saying that we're not going to have the same thing we were set up for between Wesley and Zach Wentz. And they go back to what happened during the commercial break while they were getting set up. And Wes asks if when Zach can hear him. And Zach says, I can hear you right now, shithead. And then they go on a very vulgar rant that USA bleeps out. And it's fantastic. Most of it is just generic. Oh, I don't like you, swear word, swear word, swear word. Oh, I don't like you, swear word, swear word, swear word. And then Wesley says, oh, by the way, make sure that Gigi doesn't watch next week. And Zach was not a happy camper. Now, mind you, this doesn't go to the levels of Matt Riddle being told by Seth Rollins about his family and his kids because his wife divorced him and took the kids away.
But I love the fact. I was gonna say that one's priceless, though. That is just number one. But I think it's interesting, though, the fact that this is the first time we get any type of reference to Gigi being engaged to Zach in NXT, like TV whatsoever. So that mention of him, it's like basically you're mentioning my wife at this point. It's like, don't talk about her. And that just set him off in such a way. And I was like, oof, not only Wes mentioning that, but Zach's reaction was just golden here. I just love that part.
And then, I don't know if you heard it, but as Zach is getting mad and trying to get out of the microphone, Wes is just going, Gigi, 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 Gigi. Because Zach says, keep her name out of your mouth. And he just starts repeating it over and over and over again to piss him off. And then they brawl, and it's great. And I love it. And it's exactly what it needs to be. It's a street fight. It's supposed to have... what?
Wasn't it at one point, I think, when he doesn't hear Zach anymore, he goes, is he coming? Or something like that. He starts asking if Zach was coming to his way. And I was like, he sounded so scared at that moment when he asked if Zach was coming to him. And then all of a sudden Zach is there. I was like, that was like, the timing was great too.
No, but he went, like, when he left, he wasn't running. He's like, Wesley, as he leaves, is asking, where is he? Like, he's looking for him too. Like, yes, the first part of that, I'm like, oh, is Wesley a little scared? But then when he walks to the other room, he's like, where is he? And he's not asking, like, I need to get away. He's asking where so he can go.
Yeah, but it changed. Yeah, it changed there. But at first he was scared. And it's like that alone. I'm like, interesting.
I would love to see Gigi Dolan get involved in the NXT TNA partnership if it's still ongoing when we get to that point. It was an absolute savage line. I agree. This was a great thing. I love this. We do have a new commenter that I've not seen before, so thank you for joining us, Wrestle Loose. And we have your thoughts on the NWA leading the CW in less than a week, despite no replacement deal or YouTube move confirmed. I mean, the NWA's partnership with the CW was a weird one to begin with when the CW had already announced that they were working with NXT. So it was weird, but I mean, granted, it was internet only. I don't have much thoughts on it. I'm not an avid NWA watcher. I haven't watched any other content on the CW. I'm glad that there's a place in the NWA for people to go and work and to continue to find places to wrestle and try to make some money. But the NWA is a shit show of a promotion run by a man who I have very little respect for when it comes to the talent that he brings in and puts at the top of his division. We have, if you haven't seen it, search Tyrus taking over. It's a nice little clip of me ranting about the Tyrus World Championship reign on there.
I think it was ironic because like you said, it was something that came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they were on the app, and people were like, "Oh, I guess they're official now with CW." But I was wondering, since NXT had been announced, I still saw the NWA stuff on my CW app, because I was wondering when that was going to change, if it was going to change, or if they didn't care about it. And then today, I believe some people have seen that their video says like it will expire in 6 days, which is exactly when NXT will debut in CW.
And also, funny to mention that the Peacock NXT episodes are coming off Peacock when the deal ends, which is very interesting because I don't know if those are going over to the CW app or not. I don't know where that goes for us in the United States, and that's going to be intriguing because Talking Takeover might be dead if I don't have access to those old takeovers. I mean, is that really is Paul Burchill really a good thing for the NWA to have? I mean,
Sorry, Bobby. Was that supposed to be a selling point?
it's not to me. Speaking of selling points, hello, Chris Parrish. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Our local establishment, the Overlord, is on here saying it almost felt like we were going to get Ed being nice there.
No, Ed still has a little bit of haterade left on that bottle there, I saw.
Yeah, still about a quarter of a glass of haterade.
Yep, there you go. And still has some left.
Got a refill of my haterade. Millie, I love when the backstage interviews kind of break fourth wall and they acknowledge that they're in the same village and go, yeah, I like that. That was really cool. I thought it was a great idea. The brawl makes sense. I mean, we know they're best friends. We know they're going out for a drink somewhere after the show, but I think it's fine to do. Ed's haterade equals water. It does. It does equal water, but sometimes. Gatorade's expensive. Gatorade's expensive, and no. I've not hit rock bottom on any of these shows yet where I need actual alcohol to do the show. I'm sure it's coming, but it hasn't happened yet. We get Vic and Booker T thanking the USA team for all they've done, and we had a great video package. It really was of the last 4 or 5 years of NXT on USA. The Tuesday Night Wars, all the things that have happened, the pandemic era. You know, we saw moments, like Finn Balor coming back to NXT. We saw some clips, brief as they were, of the Undisputed Era. We saw the stars that were made, whether it be Keith Lee, whether it be Rhea Ripley, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor. Like, we saw a bunch of different clips of all these superstars. It was a great video package going over the last few years. I really enjoyed it. I wish they would have been playing these for the last couple of weeks, as opposed to saving it for one segment in this show.
It made me think that I would have liked if maybe basically a whole month before the move, they would start going highlights about the North American Championship, and this week it's highlights with the NXT Championship and highlights, and then little sections like that, and highlighting things that happened throughout the time in USA regarding that, or separating them somehow by making little video packages for certain things to really stand out from beginning to end. And it's this video package made me a little bit nostalgic because I kept thinking I know you and I have been talking about NXT for basically almost 3 years at this point, but the fact that we've been watching it even before we did the show for so long, because I remember watching it when it was the game show before. So it's watching it from there to that little, I was going to say that little itty bitty time on Spectrum / Bright House networks before it really became official on the WWE Network and that era there as well. And just thinking about those moments that I got to not only watch it, but be there in the building for that. It just made me think of all those memories in NXT for myself. Personally, it's maybe so nostalgic thinking about it. I was I've been watching NXT for so long, and it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it's been that long at this point.
We're on 10 plus years of NXT, of over 10 plus years.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 10 years as NXT as an official third brand with, with the actual show being on the, the WWE Network when it launched. It was the first live wrestling show on the WWE Network when it launched before WrestleMania 30. NXT is a big part of WWE's last decade plus. The NXT, I would have loved to have had every show for the past month or so having count down the top 25 moments in NXT, especially having, say the NXT takeover of SmackDown. When everybody got stranded in Saudi and they didn't have more than 12 talent in the United States, and NXT came to the rescue, and we got Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole
on free TV
as a main event on SmackDown. We had Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan. The NXT Survivor Series, where Keith Lee stood up to Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in the same match. Just regardless of that Gunther got beaten about 20 seconds and so did Matt Riddle. But Keith Lee in those last few moments is the last man standing for NXT, going against two of WWE's greatest. The push that Keith Lee was on at that time, can't get bogged down in this, but like there should have been like a top 25 moments of NXT where you get like 5 moments for the last few weeks.
Or I was gonna say, or even involve the fans, have them vote for like the top 25 moments and make like highlights from that, kind of like counting down towards like that season ending and the season premiere there as well. But it just in my mind, if I feel like I have my own highlight reel, thinking of the moments that I have been there for Bailey and Sasha the Iron Woman match. I've been there for the Mae Young Classic. I was there for Finn Balor's like debut and like things like that. I feel like I have my own highlight reel in my mind as that was playing there too.
STG sounds like NXT evolved over the years with both of you. Yeah, I mean NXT, like Ash had said, it started out as a game show where we like Daniel Bryan and the Nexus, like having all those guys on a show, competing to get a deal, and Wade Barrett winning the show and Daniel Bryan not winning the show. Like so many interesting things that where it evolved into then like one of those shows that just kept going and going, and the season never ended. To be changing FCW to NXT and having the Gold Rush tournament to crown the first actual NXT champion, where Seth Rollins got a title from Dusty Rhodes and Triple H when he beat Jinder Mahal. Like, that's the beginning. In my mind, that's the beginning of NXT. That right there, to me, is the beginning of NXT as it is now, is the Gold Rush tournament final with Seth and Jinder. But the debut of the Wyatt family, the debut of Arrival, having the ladder match with Bo Dallas, Bo Leave being everywhere in WWE for a period of time, turning into a weekly television show for 1 hour, the Tuesday Night Wars bringing it to a 2-hour television show, and then into everything we've had it to be since then. It's just been a journey, and NXT is my favorite of the 3 brands and has been for a while. We appreciate that, SGG. Like I said, NXT is just the one that we just enjoy talking about. And if we were ever given a choice, this was the one we were going to pick. Because this is the one that always interests us the most. The Yimitless highlights alone during the No Fans era. Yeah, the No Fans era is an interesting time period in the world of professional wrestling. We move on, though. Karmen, Petrovic, and Brinley Reece taking on Rosemary and Wendy Choo. Oh
boy.
Oh. Do you want me to hate on this first, or would you like to hate on it first?
I like how you know that I'm hating on it. This one is one that torn me because I like what's going on with Wendy and Rosemary, but the part of like the Karmen Brinley part I was not interested in, and I hated that. I feel like I was like half not enjoying the show, like this particular part of the show, just because I like what the girls are doing, like the spoopiness. I like that part of it there, but having the Ashanti thing like being a part of this as well, it was definitely something that I didn't like about it. I only like the aspect of like as a babyface thinking of like Karmen is distracted by Ashanti because he's giving it over to somebody else who's not her. So it's the second time he's not giving her attention out of all the girls, and it seems like she wants the attention. I don't want her involved in the like romantic angle because she doesn't need it. And then on top of it is like I do like the aspect of like her being distracted by him, that she doesn't see Brinley, so they lose the match because of her distraction. And once she gets to the apron, she's shocked that they already lost. And I was like, I want to know what her explanation is going to be towards Brinley. We're like, I'm sorry, I was distracted by Ashanti. Like, I want to know how she's going to direct that towards Brinley when they do next time. But I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want this whole Ashanti thing to be a part of this at all. I wanted this match to be like a straight up match, and I was disappointed it didn't happen that way. But at the same time, like I said, I've been able to see Rosemary here on the show and her and Wendy continuing their story. I love that already. I do love having Brinley in there just because I feel like we're able to see a little bit more from her now in this match. But again, just like it was cut short by the distraction from Ashanti. So I was like, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I agree exactly with everything you said. It's so fucking stupid that the babyface was distracted by Ashanti trying to give fans a rose that had nothing to do with her, and she could have just kept paying attention to the match. Like, he didn't come up to give her a rose. He didn't try to get involved with her. He didn't try to give Brinley, like, it didn't need any of her attention taken away. And yet she was distracted by a man on the outside. Of, like, I don't get it. Like,
And
you
it took
have
too
a
long,
sword.
too.
You're the swing lady. Why are you bothering with this man? Just cut off his pee-pee like Val Venus got his pee-pee cut off by Guillotine. Chop your pee-pee and call it a day. I wanted to punch Booker in the face, like, please, just... Yeah, oh, Booker. Vic had a great line really early in the show. I didn't bring it up because I was going to let it go. But apparently Booker said something about talk being cheap, and Vic goes, really? Talk is cheap? Because I hear you talk every week, and I know how much you get paid. And I was like, wow, Vic. Good job. Shante, please accept no as an answer. Yeah, no, he's not going to do this. Is this how they get the dub? Yeah. Rosemary and Wendy Choo, both incredibly talented wrestlers, get a win because the tag team partner is busy arguing with the guy on the outside of the ring, trying to give a rose to a fan on the outside of the ring, not involved in any way, shape, or form in his match. That was stupid. We then move on to something slightly less stupid, CM Punk talking to Sol Ruka. And Ethan Page comes up and says, Punk, we need to talk. And I love Sol here being like, ugh, I hate this guy, and walks away.
I like how she says it, like, she says it low, but at the same time high enough that we can hear. And Ethan can hear it, but he doesn't react to it, though, which is the ironic part. He just looks at Punk and doesn't even, like, acknowledge anything she said. But I did like that aspect of, like, at the beginning of the show, we get Trick talking to Punk, and then now we get Ethan doing his set as well.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, this is, again, he says he's not happy with Punk inserting himself in the match. He's not in the mood to deal with Punk's dramas. Punk's very confused about the fact. I'm like, Punk, have you not seen what you've been up to since you got here screwing with Drew McIntyre? You're full of drama, sir. You do not need to be inserting yourself and claiming that you have no drama. You are king of drama in WWE right now. He says he's going to call it right down the middle, just like he said. And he even says, Ethan, if you win and you're the better man, that's fine. Not only will I raise your hand, hell, I'll even wrap the title around your waist. And I'm like, shit, fuck, Ethan Page is winning this goddamn match.
I was thinking that too. And I was like, he's already telling us what's going to happen. Thanks, Punk.
Yeah, I'm like, as soon as he's like, yeah, Ethan, if you win, I'll wrap the title around your waist. I'm like, fuck. Drew McIntyre's going to fucking Claymore CM Punk to holy hell, and then Ethan's going to win, and Punk's going to have to put the title around Ethan's waist, and Nails in NY is going to be all super happy, and I'm going to be pissed off. Oh, I'm already pissed off, and it's a week away.
I won't be. That's fine with me.
Oh, and unfortunately, we lost Astrid. How much a shame. Yeah, has anyone ever seen Punk as a ref? Yeah, it's not good. I love how Ethan also brought that up. He's like, I was watching some of your outings as you were trying to be a ref. And I'm like, I'm glad somebody brought that up, because Punk's a pretty bad ref. I mean, he's not as bad as Seth Rollins, but he's almost as bad as Seth Rollins. Javon and Cedric come to the ring, but then we cut back. We get a commercial break, and when we come back, Terrible Toxic is having a press conference. Why? I don't know. They weren't part of the announced package. By the way, also during the show, in picture-in-picture vignettes, we didn't hear anything. Kelani, Jordan, and Ava also got press conferences. So apparently this press conference thing took place the entire night with random people getting press conferences that we never saw.
That's even worse.
Lola and Jada are taking on 2/3 of Toxic, Terrible Toxic. They were asked which two it was going to be, and they said, wouldn't you like to know? Then Jada and Lola tried to crash the thing, and they got held back, and thankfully this train wreck of a segment came to a conclusion. We then had the best tag team match on the show, which wasn't hard considering there was only two, and the other one was Hank and Tank, but A-Town Down versus Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. This was good. I enjoyed this. Why did I enjoy this? Because A-Town Down is a fantastic tag team. There's a lot of cool stuff. And they're great. And I love them. I want to punch them in the face 99% of the time. But I love these two losers. They're so great. I do. I love these losers. They're so great. There's a lot of rub for Javon Evans in this match. He gets a lot of time to shine. Both Theory and Grayson Waller make him look like $1 million throughout most of this match. Nathan Frazer and Axiom come out towards the end of the match. Nathan wants to get in Grayson Waller's face. Axiom is trying to play the bigger man and trying to stop this from happening. While getting in the middle of it, Grayson Waller then takes advantage of this and shoves Axiom into Nathan Frazer, who knocks them both down. He then goes to do the rolling cutter from the outside inside, and Javon Evans is ready for it. Javon hits him with his thing, goes to the top rope, and for some godforsaken reason, the dummies that never slow down didn't slow down long enough to realize that Javon Evans was on the top rope. Nathan tried to get back into the ring. Axiom pulled him off, and by pulling him off the top rope, not pulling him off, that's a different thing. He'll probably do that backstage, who knows. But anyways, he pulled him off the ring apron, and that knocked Javon Evans off the top rope, which allowed Grayson Waller to hit a big move, drag him into the middle of the ring. Austin Theory hits Ataxia. 1, 2, 3, down, A-Town down under. Gets the win, as they should. They get out of the ring before Nathan Frazer and them get in the ring. Why was Nathan Frazer and Axiom here to begin with?
Well, from the Grayson Waller effect earlier, like the emotions kept running from there. It's like I feel like even though I didn't like Nathan and Axiom coming in here, I feel like the ending was creative in that aspect too. It's like they went from being here to being in the apron to like falling down of each other, everything with Javon, and then being on the floor again, and then being mad at each other again because of Javon falling. It's like all of that happened so quickly, but I enjoyed the sequence that happened there towards the end of it too. But I enjoyed the match, and like you said, it was a great highlight for Javon more than anything, and I feel like it was really well done.
Apparently, Millie did not like me saying that they potentially pull each other off in the backstage area. To Millie, I apologize. I don't know if you've seen the NXT locker room lately, but it's the horniest place in all of the world. Both members of Pretty Deadly had things happen this weekend. Congratulations to both of them and to their lovely ladies. Kelly Kincaid gave birth to a child with Elton Prince, and Kit Wilson had a marriage to Stevie Turner. So congratulations to them. We can add them to the laundry list of couples that are relegating through that water of NXT. Astrid, don't drink the water if you go down to the PC. You're gonna
I'm gonna have to go to the PC. You just gave me a good reason to go to the PC. I haven't been there in a while. That's a good reason now. Thank you.
Well, in about 10 months, y'all, we'll be having the first taking over child, and Astrid will be giving birth, apparently. After she goes to the PC and finds the horny water.
That's too quickly for me.
Millie also says, the way I almost want to join y'all next week.
The eye emoji. I'm giving you the eye emoji.
I have a child. This will be the first taking over child for either of us having a child while doing the shows.
No, she said one had a kid. Yeah, the one married to Kelly Kincaid had a baby with Kincaid.
Yeah, Kelly Kincaid, the backstage interview.
I think that's what she's going for. If I'm mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Millie. I think that's what I gathered from it.
Yeah, Elton Prince and Kelly Kincaid. Kelly Kincaid has been doing a lot of backstage stuff, seated down. She hasn't apparently been dyeing her hair because obviously she was expecting. We mentioned this a couple times that we noticed that she was starting to get a little. Her dress was starting to get a little bit more. The frame was standing up on her face, and there was less of her shot. There's a lot of things that led us to believe that she was indeed expecting. And then yes, this weekend they had a wonderful baby, successful.
You wasn't say they gave birth? It's only one of them, honey.
No, they gave birth. They got married last year, if I remember correctly. Elton Prince and Kelly Kincaid, I believe. I think they got married last year. I think that's when. Yeah. That's probably when Stevie Turner and Kit Wilson started dating. Probably at the wedding. Who knows? But either way, yes. She's married to Elton Prince. What?
I was going to say, they were in NXT UK together. Don't be saying that either.
Yeah. They were in NXT UK together. And? They didn't get to the horny water until they got here.
Hey, NXT's NXT. It's just NXT as a whole.
The parking lot is the most dangerous place in the world, and the water there will make you horny. 2 things. Meaning one, we're going to move on from all this. Hold on. I knew the Stevie thing, and I was like, wait, what? Yeah, Stevie Turner got married to Kit Wilson. That's the taller, more brunette one. And then Elton Prince is the blonder one.
Blonder.
The blonder one. We get a press conference for Trick Williams. He's asked about what it will mean to win next week. He talks about how, only 25 or so people have ever held the NXT championship. And of those wonderful... Stop laughing at me, Astrid. I can't keep it focused. And of that small group of 25 people, there's even smaller group of maybe 5 to 6 people who've ever held the NXT championship twice. He wants to be in that small group of people who have held it. Shit. Lost Astrid. He's asked about CM Punk, and he says he wants to focus on Ethan Page. He's not worried about CM Punk. He doesn't think CM Punk's going to be involved in the match in any way, shape, or form. He thinks he's going to call right down the middle. And he wants to be the next 2-time champion because he wants to lead NXT into the next generation of what we're going to be doing with NXT coming to the CW. Next week on the show, we have Zach Wentz taking on Wesley in a street fight. We have Roxanne Perez versus Giulia for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Trick Williams versus Ethan Page with CM Punk as a special guest referee in the main event. We have Jada Parker and Lola Vice taking on 2/3 of the Terrible Toxic trio. And we have Ms. TV with Oba Femi and Tony D'Angelo. We are also supposedly going to be getting in Chicago Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill based on Twitter conversations with Shawn Michaels. They're supposed to be there in Chicago. And of course, NXT has already announced that Sexy Red will be back to make my life miserable next week on the debut in Chicago. So that will be fun too. And then we get to the final press conference of the night. Giulia and Roxanne in the ring. Basically, it's like a contract signing. We have Byron Saxton. Giulia is asked about Roxanne's reign and what it means to her and all that. And Roxanne, yapping like the little scrappy-doo that she is, tries to answer the question on her own. She is then told by Byron Saxton to sit down and shut up and to let Giulia answer the question. Giulia gives the longest answer in the world in Japanese, which seemed to go on for about 5.5 minutes, which apparently, thanks to USA and Funaki for translating, only was 4 sentences. I believe there was a lot of that promo that was left off of the translated segment because she talked forever. I got bored listening to her talk in Japanese.
No.
I got bored listening to her talk in Japanese. She basically says that she came here to go ahead and take down Roxanne because Roxanne kept saying she was the best in the world. Yada, yada, yada. There was a question posed to Roxanne about the hype level of Giulia and her ability to back it up. Roxanne talked about how this was a dream match and how she's been a Giulia fan since before all of us were Giulia fans, which honestly is probably true. It is vastly more likely that Roxanne has been a Giulia fan longer than almost all of us have been. I have no doubt telling that. And then she goes back to her insincere bullshit heel stuff that she says, because all that sounds real. Like, I've been watching Giulia forever. Whenever I'd hear something about her on X, I'd go and watch a match and see how great she is and whatnot. And I've been looking forward to seeing if our paths would cross forever. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. We're getting the genuine Roxanne. And then she's like, but this is a dream match for Giulia because she came here to fight me. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Giulia's reaction was priceless. When she said dream match for Giulia, and Giulia was like,
excuse you?
Man, what? And that reaction, like the timing of it was great. Looking at her right as she said that, she goes, "No, but like, what you know what I mean is this." And I was like, I like how Roxanne tried to like back it up right after that. It's like, no, but I mean it because she's been wanting to be in NXT, so it's a dream match for her being here in NXT. I'm like, I see what you did there.
Roxanne then says the most blatant lie she has ever spoken in her entire life when she said, and I quote, "I built this division." To which I ask, then what the hell was Asuka's reign? What the hell was Rhea Ripley breaking Shayna Baszler's record-breaking reign? The first two-time champion in Shayna Baszler in NXT history on the women's side. And then we had Mandy Rose's reign, which, by the way, NXT did a very good job of, again, not mentioning the forever champion in Mandy Rose in this video for the thing, which I, again, kudos to NXT for erasing her from the memory of the entire thing. But where on God's green earth does Roxanne get the balls to say that she built this division? After thoughts?
I get where you're coming from, but to me, it's more like the way I interpreted was like more of like this era than anything. Because if you think about it, she on and off, even whether she has been first her first reign, and then as NXT Women's Champion, Tag Team Champion, and then now back to this reign, she's been at the top of the division most of the time. She's been in NXT. So when she says that, that's how I interpret it in that way of like, yeah, I built this like I would say the roster, the division from the ground. It's like there were especially these moments that felt like kind of like low in NXT. Roxanne was a constant there, and she was a good foundation for this. So that's how I interpret it in that aspect. Is like I know she will probably think about it as a heel of like you said, think of like all NXT as a whole. But that's how I saw it. It's like yeah, she has been here in the moments that in the pandemic and things like that when everything was so limited. She was one of the people that was constantly there. And whether you like it, whether we like it or not, with all her accomplishments, think about it. She ever since she's been in NXT, she's been at the top of the women's division somehow, with or without a title, and that's how I saw it too.
I could buy that for $1, but I don't buy what she was trying.
Only $1? No, I'm taking it back.
$1.50 maybe. Roxanne Perez, I ain't paying more than $1.50.
But it's my idea, so didn't that count?
STG says he'll pay $1. That's Canadian. That might be worth it. That's $1 Canadian might be. I agree with Roxanne.
Wait, I thought she was British. What happened? Am I mistaken on this?
STG's Canadian. I hate you.
Okay. Why did I think British?
No. Mark's British. STG's Canadian.
I know Mark is.
Yeah, we don't have pennies. Yeah, you have what, loonies and toonies and bullshit like that. I've watched How I Met Your Mother. I know how this goes. I just say fuck Canada. Canada's stupid, just like they do in How I Met Your Mother. There we go. Mission solved. Anyways, that was NXT tonight. It was a show. It was certainly a show. Lots of fruits and vegetables on this show. Like, we're getting our steak and we're getting our dessert and we're getting everything next week that we want. But, God, we had to fucking put through a lot of it. SCG says, I'd rather have coins than a $1 bill, making it look like I have more money. Yeah, but then you have to carry heavy change everywhere. And also, more importantly, Americans don't carry cash.
Yeah, that's super rare.
So, like, the idea that we carry cash is an understatement here. Only ballers carry cash because they carry it in large amounts because they want to have fun.
I was going to say, mostly strippers have singles, but that's about it.
So they don't carry cash, 90% debit card user. Yeah, it's about the United States. Anyways, before all that, again, I want to make sure I point out to everybody, down here, down below, next week, join us for a live watch-along version of Taking Over. Next Tuesday for the CW debut. We'll be going live probably about 7:55, 7:58. Somewhere in between there, we are going to start. We're going to run down the card. We're going to give our predictions as the matches get ready to get started. We're going to be here to talk to you all through all the matches, so make sure you please join us for that. It is going to be a special edition of Taking Over. I will be here 1,000%, depending on the weather, because Astrid has some issues with weather down there in Florida. There are always some issues there. Astrid may or may not be here. We are trying to line up a guest or two. I know I have some nibbles from some people. We're going to see what we can get done. I know my friend Andre was saying after we did Marvel Talk that he wants to be here on this show because he wants to make sure that the Lola haters, either me and you apparently, you were looped in with me, that the Lola haters treat her properly, when he didn't even know she was going to be on the show next week. So now that he knows she's going to be on the show, he's absolutely going to try to make his way onto the show. So we'll probably have that going on. But
I was gonna say I love Andre being here, but don't tell him Lola's on the show. I don't want him to know that.
I don't think he's going to see it. It's going to be advertised.
Will it though?
Again, we talked about it during the top of the show, but we do want to definitely make sure that people see this. The final shot of the show: Roxanne, Perez, Giulia get a final question, but the question is interrupted by a Spanish speaker where Byron Saxton goes, "I don't know what outlet you're with, but you need to stop." And the woman continued to speak. And Stephanie Vacour showed up on the Titantron. She's here. And she said, whichever one of you comes away with that championship, just understand, I'm coming.
I love the quote though. What's going to happen when I arrive? And it's like, and her English is really well done as well. I know she's been studying or what, but she sounded great, and I'm very confident in her. So let's go, Stephanie.
Yeah. That's just great. Really with the eyes. But that is all we've got going on for this week. So Astrid, where can the good people find you? Do you have an Astrid Ask coming up? Do you have a ladies wrestling showcase coming up in the near future?
You're killing me over here. I'm tired. No, Ashley will be taking some rest because Ashley worked 14 hours yesterday. I deserve it at least. No, not a lot going on yet, sir. Keep it there. No, if you're watching, most likely you're on my YouTube channel, so please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Click the bell to be notified whenever I upload or go live. Like I said, I'm still pending regarding my status for next week, depending on the storm and something else I got going on. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully the storm will let me pass through wherever I want to go. So I'll be here, but not in Florida, but here, hopefully. Yes, Astrid is taking a rest. You rarely hear that, but yes. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, you can find me that it says there Astrid on Twitter and Blue Sky, and then Astrid Pillar 20 on Instagram and Threads.
And of course, if you want to go ahead and use the sales at WWEshop.com, you can scan this QR code. When you do that, you get the same great savings and the same great prices on WWEshop.com. But we get a little bit of a kickback here for the wonderful Miss Astrid so that she can continue paying for the great Canva that we use to make all of our great thumbnails and all of our great work here over at our local establishment. And if you want to support Astrid again a little bit more directly, you can go ahead and pick up the Astrid Pizarro shirt, which you can see the lovely Mel Ball and Mike the Ref wearing right here. Where you got Astrid in the middle, you got the design for the shirt. But if you want to see it a little bit more up close and personal, right here between the two of us, you can see the wonderful design. It is fantastic. And of course, if you're looking for me, you can go ahead and find me. Oh, I'm hitting too many buttons. You can find me right down here on Twitter at edfries12584. Find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. Me and Andre talked about the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along this Saturday. So we can go ahead, if you want, you can go back on the YouTube channel and find the live video of that to go ahead and catch up with that. We're trying to figure out when we're going to do this because unfortunately Disney has screwed us this year and is dropping the episodes on a Wednesday at 9 p.m., which is right before we go live. So we're either going to do this with very little information because new rock stars and heavy spoilers in them won't have put out their breakdown so that I can sound smart. So either you're going to get raw reactions late on a Wednesday night, or you're going to have to wait till some other time during the week because our Thursday nights are kind of booked with Ring Respect Radio and Honor Ramble. So make sure you catch those shows on every Thursday. Also, remember that you can catch me later on this month on Ring Respect Radio, where I am going to be taking the seat for What the Fuck Do We Know About Wrestling Pub Trivia, as I have a Halloween-themed quiz. Not quite Halloween-themed. Is a version of a theme on there. It's all about one particular topic. So you can go ahead and check that out and see what you know about wrestling and see if you can take the YouTube or the Twitch championship belts from either of the champions. And remember, that means if I'm asking the questions, Munson's in the hot seat answering questions. Munson. You can also catch me every now and then on Point of View, where I try to provide Bobby with expert NFL analysis. We had a great week this week. We are now only in 3rd place by 3 points to the viewers and 4 points to Mark, or 2 points to the viewers and 4 points to Mark, because STG shit the bed this week. So it was a very good week for me and Bobby, and STG shit the bed. thank you for joining us, Brinley. We greatly appreciate it. And again, we hope you can all join us again next week as we go ahead and have that wonderful watch along. We don't do it very often, but we're going to be doing it next week. So if nothing else, come join my misery as I have to watch Sexy Red on my TV screen at some point next week. For myself, for Asha Bizarro, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.